Well, all right, y'all. So welcome back to Love 24 Hours here, where we review content that can either brighten or enlighten your day. So yeah, Low Tribe, I don't really have any announcements for you. Today we'll do shout outs, probably in the next video or the one after that. We shall see this week. But other than that, yeah, we won't have anything. So we're gonna jump straight into the video.
That sun is putting out energy that is causing what is called by the geneticist junk DNA, and the creator never made junk. Intuitive females are now becoming psychic females. Intuitive males are now becoming the God they were supposed to become. A God is only a person with more powers than the average person around them in a humanoid fleshly body. But the mind has been altered. The spirit and the soul are vibrating high.
If you are in consciousness at this dispensation of time, and you learn a certain thing and you know better, what will happen to you is, once you take yourself into consciousness, you leave a certain cycle behind you. So if you get a certain amount of consciousness like a chandelier, I know all about Diop and I know all about Dr. Ben, and you go back to living in this world and doing the same thought patterns as you did before you have consciousness, what will happen to you is, once you go to a certain level, to go backwards, what will happen is that world will not be the same for you again, and a lot of things will start happening to you, mainly financially. You won't be able to get things together, and that's because you're holding back. That means that you only use the consciousness for a utility. You know, just to say, you know, like a new chandelier, it's the end thing. You know, the kitchen is the end thing. So you use it for that type thing, but you go back to the same life, back into this world, being Negroes. So as soon as you return back, that cycle that you left is no longer conducive for you. Because you have gone on, you will meet your joys in the cycle that's conducive to you if you keep the knowledge and see it through. You understand what I'm saying? It's to see it through. You can't, if you went to college, you can't go back to the first grade. You see. So you must not be afraid of this thing. You chose it because your spirit inside of you chose it. So by your spirit and chose, you locked in now. You got to see this thing through. There's nothing to do better than to struggle. And when we're saying that, no, we're talking about the particular consciousness, because when you take this road, God knows you're going to struggle. That's the damn sure. Check.
Women are not natural. Women are spiritual. And every man that is here, I challenge you, starting with you, Mnona. You don't sleep with a woman. You sleep with your mother. Because the woman that you sleep with is able to reproduce you.
Does that sound right?
Miram Komana. Your wife is your wife, yes. But she's your mother. Because your wife will reproduce you. Kademoaka kanomirira, the feminine energy. 3 months later, after a baby girl is born, then you take the child out when the moon sits and you show the child the half moon, and you tell the child, there is your mother. Was from that day onward, that child, female child, must understand that her cycles of life are going to be managed by the movement of the moon. That's why even in Shona, when women are there, we say, Varikumwezi. Hello?
Yeah, that's deep.
Where are they? They are with the moon. Women are therefore spiritual portals, sacred spaces that translate human beings from sperm and water into bone and marrow. This represents the purity of women. And when a country loses the virginity of girls, it has lost its spirituality. That is the cleanest space of any nation, is the girl child. And any man who walks out there destroying virginity, you are destroying spirituality and truthfulness. For the only truth we have is women. The rest are lies. And if our women can produce after truth, the world will be restored to order. It may sound like a big obligation, but in a world that seems to undermine the value of women, I come as an African traditionalist and I say, the center of the community and the nation is women. And there's no way any man can carry this on their shoulder and they abuse women. This represents the protection of women, the spirituality of women, the purity of women, the reproduction of women, the portal into life of women. The very scary diamond shape you see on my hand, the 4 grandmothers, the 2 grandmothers, 2 grandfathers who make your mother, 2 grandfathers who make your father. These 2 come together. When these 4 are together, there is the door into life itself. Sleeping with a woman is accessing this diamond shaped space, and you need a conversation with the ancestors to who have brought this door into your hands. It's illegal, therefore, to sleep with a woman unless you have had a conversation with those that are with you. That's why in Shona we say mangwanani, mamukase, makadi, mawoko, salimonani. I don't see you, I see them who have brought you to me and who have access into the very portal of life. I need a conversation with those that have brought you into space. That's why many people, particularly men, are dying. It's because they are ministering in temples where they are not allowed.
Temples.
They're ministering in sanctuaries where they are not allowed. Gentlemen, women are a graveyard. You either have a womb or it's a tomb.
It's a shot, right?
Dubura food in
We look here, we're looking at the colon. When we look at the lips, we're looking at the colon. When we look at the side of the mouth, we're looking at the kidneys. When we look around the mouth, we're seeing the sex organs. So a lot of people that have PCOS, fertility issues, they will have hair on the lip, or they may have developing a mustache or chin hairs. Right? When we look at the lungs, we look at the cheeks, we're looking at the lungs. When we look at the tip of the nose, we're looking at the heart. Right, when we look between the brows here, we're looking at the liver. So when you understand how to map the face like that, then when you see any inconsistency, I don't care if it's hyperpigmentation, if it's acne, if it's dark spots, if it's wrinkles, if it's dehydration, change in skin texture, that will mean that there's an inconsistency with that organ. Right, so when we going through puberty after eating all this cow's milk for 15 years and things, you see whiteheads start to appear on the forehead. More than likely that child is dealing with constipation, which is leading to the whiteheads. Now the Africa said that's just a big old turd sitting on your forehead.
That's not the culture that it represents, but every single decade on this planet, since we've been out here in America, we've been the most revolutionary, industrious people on this planet, and nobody can hold a bar to us. So why is not represented? Why when we go look at the Olympics and we see these magnificent, brilliant, melanated specimens out there running and breaking records, that's not our culture. But they say hip-hop is the culture. Hip-hop just an entertainment aspect of the culture. What we really do is we change the universe. What we really do is we influence because our spirit and our mind is brilliant, and we conduct so much energy that the rest of the world revolves around it. I ain't here to lie to you today. I ain't here to make it sound fly. I'm here to tell you how it is.
There's a movie that if you watch it, I can personally guarantee you will be thinking about it for days after. Now, there is some awareness of this film on TikTok because I've seen some people posting clips. It's a very quotable movie. It's a film that gets referenced a lot, especially in old TV shows, but always in the context of making fun of it. Here's Family Guy, here's The Simpsons doing a bit about it, here's the show Community parodying one of the scenes. The movie they're all referencing and making fun of is called My Dinner with Andre. It's from 1981. The reason people made fun of My Dinner with Andre is because the film is literally two guys having a dinner, not just eating quietly for 2 hours, but it's about the discussion they have over that dinner. And a lot of you have immediately either stopped watching this video or decided you will never watch this thing. Treat it like a podcast. I don't know. But the discussion they have is something that I see people having every day on here and on the internet and on any podcast that's about like the meaning of modern life. The setup is that this guy, Wallace Shawn, you've seen him in The Princess Bride, has been invited to a dinner with a friend who he has been avoiding for months because the friend is crazy. He's a writer, his friend is in theater, and years ago his friend dropped out of society. And last he heard, the guy had joined a weird cult or something. So now this guy's been pestering him, like, oh, we got to get together. And he's like, I do not want to talk to this guy. But at the start of the film, he finally relents and they sit down. And what ensues is this guy going off on what sounds like a very crazy rant and him becoming slowly more and more intrigued. And the premise is that this guy has decided that modern life is phony and spiritually barren. And so what he did was he went off on an eat, pray, love type adventure to reconnect with himself and spirituality and the world. Whereas he stayed behind and just lived his normal day-to-day life in New York in his little apartment going to his job. And the thing that caused this guy to kind of abandon his life and leave the country is the idea that everyone is just playing a role, that no one is actually acting on their own desires. You know, you get up in the morning, if you put on pants, why did you do that? Well, you did it because other people expect you to wear pants. They get mad if you don't. But why do they expect you to wear pants? Because other people expect them to expect you to wear pants. Everybody is simply acting based on what society has told them is expected, but most people cannot identify where that expectation comes from. So the question he's asking is, where inside you is the actual thing you want to do versus what moment to moment you have been told society expects you to do? All of the choices you make throughout the day in terms of how you groom yourself, what you eat, how you talk, how you dress, everything is based on society setting these rules. And his assertion is that modern humans, that there's basically nothing left after the expectations, where it's actually just, okay, well, what do you actually want? Are you picking a partner, a romantic partner, based on what you're expected to desire? Or are you actually going after what your own heart wants? But what's great about the film is that it is not trying to convince you that this guy is right, because he pushes back, saying that there's no reason you can't find meaning just walking around at the corner convenience store. That those people's lives, the people on the subway, the people you just run into, are just as deep and meaningful as the lives this guy ran into traveling the world. The movie is more than 40 years old, but every single word of this is more relevant now than it was then. Because everything he says about how modern life can kind of lure you into sleepwalking through your own life, where you have people close to you going through crises that you don't even recognize because you're so distracted and so obsessed with your own presentation to the world. All of the trends they discuss and bring up are more pronounced now in the social media age than they were then. Anyway, you can watch it for free. It is two guys having dinner, but it is not boring if you listen to what they're saying.
Have you guys heard about this man? Dr. Yaki, a doctor, a herbalist master, and a holistic healer, has recently healed people using food only of diseases like cancer, HIV, diabetes, and herpes, all from food. But what I'm really interested in is something that he shared about the Bible during an interview that really showed me when it came to this specific scripture, he had more understanding than many pastors out there. Check this out.
And he like, look, that's why he kept quoting Moshe. Right. Notice he kept quoting Moses, honor your father and your mother. But you judging me because I'm not washing my hands. It's not about me washing my defiled hands. It's about what comes out of the mouth of a man. Right. He is the living word. He can never go against himself. Right. That's why you always say the scriptures can't be broken. Right. So what he was just trying to do, he was giving them an analogy saying that me eating with my hands being filthy don't make me an unclean man, because they had made the God house into a bank. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's why he was like, give on to Caesar what's on to Caesar. Right. So he basically talking about mindset. Like, for instance, even when you get into Leviticus chapter 11 and talks about eating of the pig, eating of the swine, right, all this is a mindset thing, because you are what you eat. Right. If you eat pig, you tend to act like a pig. That's where gluttonous come in. So this is all talking about a mentality.
So, to summarize what Dr. Yaki is saying here, Jesus, our Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, was rebuking the Sadducees and the Pharisees because of their understanding of the laws of Moses. Another example of this are the dietary laws that the Jews followed, where there are certain animals they don't eat because those animals are unclean. Dr. Yaki said Jesus knew that this was speaking about a mindset. It wasn't speaking about the law states it's an unclean animal, we shouldn't eat it. But Jesus came and said, eat what you want to, it being unlawful to eat a literal pig. It doesn't matter. Now, was Jesus opposing the law? Absolutely not. Was Jesus breaking the law? Absolutely not. Jesus understood that that was speaking about something deeper, or what Dr. Yaki called a mindset. Jesus understood that these laws had deeper heavenly meanings, like what Paul said in Romans 7:14, for we know that the law is spiritual. So a pig being unclean and it being unlawful for us to eat it is actually speaking about a characteristic within a person that makes that person unclean. So if we understand the characteristics of a pig and we apply that to a human, we see what characteristics makes a human unclean in the sight of God. So God in the law was not talking about not eating physical pigs. It doesn't matter what you put in your body. That's not what makes you unclean. Might make you unhealthy, but it doesn't make you spiritually unclean. What makes you spiritually unclean is you being like that pig, having the characteristics of a pig within yourself. Pigs are not trained and loyal animals. Pigs only pay attention to their master when they want something. This represents the type of Christian that only cries out to God, only prays to God, only seeks God when they're in trouble and when they want something from him. Pigs roll around in muck and mire and dirt. This represents a person who is caught up in the filthiness of this world, in sin. Pigs will also eat anything. They don't know the difference between a ribeye steak and a piece of trash. This represents a so-called believer that can't distinguish between what is truth from what is false. What is the true bread of life from what is a lie? They will eat anything. They will take anybody's teachings. They have no discernment between what is the true spiritual food and what is poison, what is the venom of the serpent. So this is what makes us unclean, and this is what the law was pointing to. So Jesus, as he said, never came to do away with the law. The law is not void, as the New Testament tells us. Jesus came to fulfill the law. That word fulfill is the Greek word plero, which means to teach correctly. The dietary laws are really speaking about the characteristics within animals that are seen within people that make a person unclean. Like the Bible says, do not throw your pearls to the pigs, to the swine. It's not talking about throwing literal pearls to pigs. It's talking about the precious truth that God reveals to his people. We are not to give that to people who are just going to devalue it, who don't know the worth of it, and who are not going to walk it out. They're like pigs. They don't know the true value of God's precious things. So don't try and give those precious things that you pay for to people who are not going to know what to do with it. If you guys want more, head over to my Patreon page right now, where you can get access to exclusive content and teachings. I love you guys, and I pray this message blessed you. Shalom.
Hey, how can your main out be a cop? It was premeditated before he shot. He see a brown boy, he in shock. Bullets go bop, bop, it's about getting our feelings when they do the killings, but we do the same thing on the block, repeating the same thing. We bots. Look how the plot twist like a lock. They rapping the same things on the songs, they pushing the same thing on the media. All of the kids watching every move and everything you do, they repeating. You're pushing the same things in the movies, pushing whatever that they sell, pushing the same things in the streets and putting us all in the same jail. Free the block, free the bros, free your mind, free your soul, free yourself, free your goals. Are we free? I say no. Free my mama, free my sister, free my cousin. Let them go till we free. I'm screaming freedom, 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 freedom.
All healing comes from inside ourselves. We have the physician on the outside and the physician on the inside, and all healing is based on love. We really don't understand our own power. See, I have this kind of idea that when God created this earth, whoever God is to whoever you are, created the earth and it was beautiful and everything was in place and the way it should be. But then he created the human being, and he said to us, now you are the only creatures that have the right to choose and have free will. So therefore, I give you dominion over the earth. And we decided that what he meant by dominion was dominance. And so we've taken over the earth and done what we darn well choose with it. And look where we are. So it's that reality, the inner part of us, we're all reaching for our true humanity. And that true humanity understands that we are the ones who do the healing. See, I've come up with what I call 5 L's. The first one is life and love. Without life, there's nothing, you know. You can be a seed in the Great Pyramid for 5,000 years and nothing happens until love, which is light and water and so on, softens the shell and the seed opens up and it grows. Life and love are one unit. They work together. It's like a pregnancy. When a mother is pregnant, she and that baby are one unit. What she eats, the baby eats. What she thinks, the baby thinks. It's a constant process. But that aspect of reality that is that baby that is being nurtured and grown within the womb doesn't really find its own identity until it takes its first breath. So it's this reality that life and love are one unit. As we work with each other that way, we can really understand aspects of ourselves, but aspects of the world around us and aspects of other people too.
Hell is hot, ain't no water there. Oh, hell is hot, ain't no water there. No ice, no tea, no lemonade, no Coke, no Sprite, no Gatorade. Oh, hell is hot, ain't no water there. Hell is hot, ain't no water there. No ice, no tea, no lemonade, no Coke, no Sprite, no Gatorade. Hell is hot.
Well, all right, yeah. Thank you for joining me today in today's video. Before we go, I do got a quick question. What do you do to a person, or what would you have to do to a person to receive a song like that at your, at your going away party? Going away party. Like, what in the world? First of all, no one looked like they was in a rush to stop her. So maybe she did. She wasn't the only one that felt the way she felt. Why did the band? Why did the band start playing with her? No, I'm trying to thought they was laughing. Okay. Anyway, so yes, y'all just go ahead and just enjoy the rest of your day or night or whatever. And until the next video, y'all. Let me get out of here. All right, y'all. Peace out.